بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. So inshallah we're continuing with our series, the signs which will take place before the day of Qiyamah, and inshallah we're continuing with the aspects of Qiyamah that will take place as common trends, things that are not one-time events and then they finish, rather they are trends that will continue and they will not stop all the way until the last days. So continuing on, we have the hadith of Bukhari where the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, وَيُلْقَى الشُّحُّ, excessive greed and stinginess will be thrown into the hearts of people. Excessive greed and stinginess. And that's exactly what we see today, is that this disease of miserliness, being so stingy and so greedy over a person's wealth, over the goods that you have, over the dunya, physical materials which Allah has given someone. People are willing nowadays, they'll take the life of another human being. They'll take the life of their own brother. They'll take the life of their own relatives and family members, all for the sake of a few dollars and some dunyawi wealth. That's how strong this disease of greed could be. Miserliness, right? And greediness, it doesn't just have to do with money. A person could be greedy with their wealth. You could be greedy with your time. You could be greedy with your effort. These are all different ways how you could be stingy with yourself, right? A person that has generosity, you will be generous not only with your materials and physical wealth, but a generous person, you're also generous with time. You're also generous with your labor, with helping people, right? So the way that you could be of benefit towards others and avoid this disease of miserliness and being stingy is how? Being at service for other people. With your time, your wealth, and also lending a hand wherever you can. Right? And this is exactly what the Messenger ﷺ has taught us. And we hear in the Quran what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala teaches us. How to not be looking into the pockets of people and looking for things in return from others. Right? Whatever a person does, you do it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you don't expect anything back in return. And Allah ta'ala mentions in the Quran the sifat and the qualities of the true believers. وَيُطْعِمُونَ الطَّعَامَ عَلَى حُبِّهِ مِسْكِينًا وَيَتِيمًا وَأَسِيرًا إِنَّمَا نُطْعِمُكُمْ لِوَجْهِ اللَّهِ لَا نُرِيدُ مِنْكُمْ جَزَاءً وَلَا شُكُورًا. That the true believers, they are who? They are the people that feed others. They give others. They're not focused on themselves. They're not selfish. They're not greedy. They look out for the well-being of those who are around them. They feed the miskeen. They feed the yatim. They feed those who are around them and those who are in need. And the end result is what? لَا نُرِيدُ مِنْكُمْ جَزَاءً وَلَا شُكُورًا. We don't want anything in retribution for that. We don't want you to pay the favor back. لا نريد منكم. We don't want that from you. We don't want any jaza. We don't want any substitute for what we've done. وَلَا شُكُورًا. Nor are we anticipating any gratitude or thanks. That is how a believer should be. Completely everything for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, being at service for other people without expecting anything back. And today, we learn the opposite of this. Right? Some of the riwayat mention that instead of وَيُلْقَى الشُّحْ, some riwayat mention that it's possible that it could be read وَيُلَقَّى الشُّحُ, وَيُلَقَّى الشُّحُ, with a shadda on the qaf. If that is the case, that would mean stinginess, being greedy. This will be a way which is taught to the people. Instead of generosity being taught, being open-handed, what will be taught and what will be common amongst the people, what will the older generations teach to the younger generations, is closing your fist, being tight-fisted, not being open-handed. And subhanallah, what do we see today? If something does not have monetary benefit, then there is no benefit in it. That's what people are taught. If there's no money in it, there's absolutely no fa'idah. There's no benefit then for you. It's not something that's worth your time if there's not money coming out of it. Right? Ulama mention that there are two things. One thing which you should always, forever and ever you should remember. Never forget. And one thing which you should always forget. Don't even remember it ever. Forget about it. The thing which you should always remember and never ever forget. Ihsanun nasi ilayk. Don't forget the good things which people have done for you. Don't ever forget the favors that people have bestowed upon you. Don't forget the good things that people have helped you out with in life. Never. And what is the thing that you should forget? Don't ever remember that. Always keep it in the back of your mind. Erase it from your mind. Don't keep it in your mind. What is that thing? The favors which you have done towards other people. The good things that you have done for others, that's something that you should erase from your memory. Today, na'udhu billah, it should not be opposite. Whatever people have done for us, we tend to forget. Forget about that person. Don't remember the good that they've done to you. Forget about it. And the good things that you have done for other people, it's always on top of your mind. That this person has to treat me a certain way. This person has to do things for me a certain way. You have that eye of expectation out of that person. Why? Because that person has done, you have done a favor towards that person. So now you're expecting the person has to behave towards you in a certain way. Whereas, as we know, a believer should never look towards other people in that way. You do for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you leave everything else. And we covered this a little bit last week. The hadith where the Messenger alayhi salam said that towards the end of times, you will see al-hufat al-urat ri'a al-sha' yatatawaluna fil bunyan. It's come up quite a few times before that you will have people, they're not clothed properly. They're barefoot. They don't have proper attire on. They're shepherds. They're looking after the sheep. And a day will come that these people will have so much wealth, يَتَطَاوَلُونَ فِي الْبُنْيَانِ. They're outdoing one another in huge buildings, skyscrapers, buildings that are going all the way up into the second and third asman. They'll be outdoing one another. And where were their roots? Where did they begin from? Shepherds. Wealth will pour in. Wealth will come like this. That eventually, they're going to reach this. And just a few statistics for you guys. Burj Khalifa. $1.5 billion. $1.5 billion. Almost 3,000 feet. 163 floors on this one building. 163 floors. And subhanallah, look what they have here. The 144th floor. Floor number 144. The 144th floor has won an award. What's the award for floor number 144? The world's highest nightclub on the 144th floor. The world's highest nightclub. ظهر الفساد في البر والبحر بما كسبت أيدي الناس. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in the Quran that corruption has spread في البر والبحر, in the land and in the sea. And now, even in the skies, people are. How many elevators? 57 elevators just for this. And all of this money and energy being spent in this, while people are starving right outside of the buildings. While the workers that are coming from faraway lands, many of them, their passports get stolen. They're practically become like slaves, indentured servants. Steal their passports, make them work like slaves, barely have decent living conditions. But what's the goal? You have to become famous. It's that greed. It's that need for fame, that need for popularity. You want to attract people's attentions towards you. You make more money off of these things. So they'll do all of this and ruin people's lives. Give people the worst of the worst treatment, but you have to make the world record. Some reports have come out that these workers, they would work the entire day and $2 a day, $3 a day, $4 a day for hours and hours of difficult labor. That's all that they would get. And then obviously you also have in Mecca the Royal Clock Tower, $15 billion is estimated. And the interesting thing is, in the Musannaf, Abdullah ibn Amr ibn al-As radiyallahu anhu, he said, when that time comes, you will see that the buildings will be so high, it'll basically be like competing with the mountains. And the skyscrapers will be so tall that they will emerge above the mountains. And if you look at pictures of Makkah, or if you've been there, what do you see? The buildings are actually moving above the mountains now. Moving ahead in the Musnad of Imam Ahmad, and we're going to move one after the other, the different signs that are going to take place. So the next one is from the Musnad of Imam Ahmad rahimahullah. He says, إِنَّ بَيْنَ يَدَيِ السَّاعَةِ تَسْلِيمُ الْخَاصَّةِ وَفُشُوُ التِّجَارَةِ. That when the time of Qiyamah starts to come close, what will happen? You will have taslimul khasa, which means people will only make salam on those that they know. Khasa, specific people only. Only those that you're acquainted with. If there's someone that you do not know, salam will not be made upon that person. Right? And subhanAllah, you still have masajid today where this disease is not present. Anybody that enters, whether you know them or you don't know, whether you're a local person or whether you're a visitor, everybody will make salam to you. Assalamu alaikum, how are you, brother? Smile at you, make salam. This is the way that the Prophet ﷺ used to live. This is the way Sahaba used to live. Salam upon everyone that you see. عَلَى مَنْ عَرَفْتَ وَمَنْ لَمْ تَعْرِفْ. On those that you recognize and you know, and also on those that you don't know. Because this gift of Iman is such a thing that when another person has it in their heart, as a Muslim you should automatically be attracted towards that. Automatically there's a connection. There's a glue, there's a bond. And the Messenger ﷺ mentioned that business and tijara will become very, very widespread. Very, very common and very, very widespread. And in another hadith, Ibn Hibban narrates, يَتَقَارَبُ الْأَسْوَاقِ, the marketplaces will become near. The marketplaces will become near. And this is an ajib one, because, back in the days, in the time of Hajj, they used to have these huge souqs, huge marketplaces, and people would have to travel, and you'd have to go really, really far. People would take their caravans all the way to Syria, different places, Sham, right? But now, look how easy tijara has become. Look how easy business has become, right? One is in terms of physical location, right? Look at, for example, right now, you go to a shopping place, one little area, all your needs can be fulfilled there. In one little marketplace, house needs there, clothing needs there, electrical needs there, everything you can find, very, very close by. That's when you look at from a physical perspective. And as we know now today, how famous it's become? Online shopping. Black Friday sales is not done. Now they also have Cyber Monday.
This was sign number 3, right? This was sign number 3?
Yeah. So subhanAllah, look at that. That from the click of your finger, you just pull out your phone, and all the markets that are there, you have access to all of them. Swipe your finger this way, you're at Walmart. Swipe your finger that way, you're at Target. Swipe your finger that way, you're at Best Buy. The markets will become extremely close to each other. And some ulama, they've interpreted this, that the ahwal of the markets, the conditions of the markets, meaning the pricing, prices have gone up, prices have gone down. This information will very, very quickly come to the notifications of people. It'll come in you'll know very, very quickly. Oh, there's a good deal. Oh, the prices have gone up. Oh, the prices have gone down. So, tujjar, people who are into business, they'll know right away when is the opportunity to strike. Right? And subhanAllah, same thing happens on people's phones. You get notifications when a product is like this. You get it on your email. You get the sales on your different messages, in your phones, also in your mail. All of those things come. يَتَقَارَبُ الْأَسْوَاقِ. The next one is that trustworthiness and loyalty will be uplifted from the people. That quality of being trustworthy, that quality of being loyal, that will be taken from the hearts of people. So much so that it'll be said amongst the people that in Banu Fulan, there's a trustworthy guy over there in so-and-so village. Fi Bani Fulan, over there in such and such village. There's a trustworthy person there. And people will be eager to make business or have some relationship with that person. You can imagine, kind of like a famous person. Oh, in such and such village, there's a trustworthy guy there. Maybe we can do some business with him, for example. Right? So, people who have this attribute of loyalty, of being trustworthy, not, getting over on you, being honest, it's going to be so rare that when people point at them and find out about them, it's like they're famous people from such and such village. They're not going to be easy to find. And part of the reason why, respected listeners, is because trustworthiness, amana, this has to do with your iman. This has to do with your faith. If you have faith and you have strong iman, then you will have amana, you will have trustworthiness. But if you don't have iman, if you don't have faith, your trustworthiness will also disappear. And what is the reason? What will stop you from cheating on somebody, from getting over on someone, from using someone? You'll get your benefit out of that person. Nobody will know about it. you part ways and your pocket is full of money. You only see benefit for yourself. What is the thing that would stop a person from doing that? When they have faith. When they know, you know what, this is wrong. Allah is watching me, and this is not something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to be pleased with. So I'm not going to do it. I'm going to be trustworthy. I'm going to fulfill my words. I'm going to fulfill my promise. I'm going to be an honest person. I'm not going to dupe anyone. I'm not going to deceive anyone. So as faith starts to diminish, this quality of amana, it's also going to be uplifted and taken out from the hearts of people. The truthful will be called a liar. The truthful person will be called a liar. And the liar will be called truthful. People will get mixed up. The good person, he's going to be called bad. And the bad person, he's going to be put on a pedestal as if he is very, very good. And that's why we learn the dua of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allahumma adina al-haqqa haqqan warzuqna ittiba'ah. Wa adina al-batila batilan warzuqna ijtinabah. That, oh Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, show me the truth as truth and grant me the ability to follow it. Oh Allah, show me the truth as truth and grant me the ability to follow. And oh Allah, show me falsehood as falsehood and grant me the ability to refrain from it. This is something that's very important, because when the ends of times come, the things of truth and the people of truth, it'll be made to look in people's eyes as if it's falsehood. And the things of falsehood, they will be made to look as if it is truth. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in the Quran, وَزَيَّنَ لَهُمُ الشَّيْطَانُ أَعْمَالَهُم. The shaitan has beautified their actions in their eyes. He's beautified it for them. So something that is very, very evil, something that's very, very bad, something that a normal person would say, this is absolutely something that's incorrect. This is something that's absolutely unacceptable. When the shaitan grabs hold of a person's heart, and he grabs hold of your thinking and your understanding, something that is evil, it'll become beautified in your eyes. Wow, that's something that's actually good. It's like there's a veil in front of your eyes that's stopping you from seeing the truth. Falsehood and false people will be called truthful. And truthful people, they will be called false. يُؤْتَمَنُ فِيهِ الْخَائِنُ وَيُخَوَّنُ فِيهِ الْأَمِينُ. The disloyal person, the untrustworthy person, will be given the trust of people. And the trustworthy person, he will be called a deceiver. So everything will get mixed up. People will not see truth as truth. People will see, they will look at the truth and they'll think it's falsehood. They will look at falsehood and they'll believe that this is the truth. And an interesting thing about this trustworthiness is that in another narration, the Messenger ﷺ says that the first thing that will be uplifted from the believers is this quality of amana, trustworthiness. And the last thing that will leave them, meaning they'll hold on to this all the way till the end, it will be the last thing that will leave, is their salah. First to be uplifted, trustworthiness. Last to be uplifted is the salah. So you can imagine how important salah is. Despite, the people will lose trustworthiness. The people will lose all these great qualities. But one thing that they will not leave, all the way till the very end, they'll hold on to their prayers at least. So they'll tolerate, okay, trustworthiness and amana, it's left me. Alright, but I'm still a Muslim, I'm still gonna pray. Another beautiful quality has left me. Salah is still there, I have to hold on. One by one, the qualities will leave. One by one, these aspects of faith, of iman, of being a Muslim will leave. But the last thing that they will hold on to is salah. That's the last one that's going to leave. This is mentioned in Al-Jami' al-Saghir. And we touched upon this a little bit last week. يُقْبَضُ الْعِلْمُ وَيَكْثُرُ الْجَهْلُ. That knowledge will be uplifted. Ignorance will become prevalent amongst the people. They will look for an imam to lead the salah. And everyone will be looking at each other. You go forward, you go forward. And it's not because of ihtiram. It's not out of respect. The reason why is because what? At that time, nobody will know how to lead salah. Nobody will have the ability to lead others in prayer. They won't know what to do. People will stand like this in the masjid, looking at each other. The next hadith, Abu Dawood, عن ثوبان رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. The Prophet عليه السلام mentions that, one second. The Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned that the time will come when nations, they will call each other upon you. Upon the ummah, they will call each other. Just like when people are eating, they gather around the plate of food and they call each other. Right? Hopefully, inshallah, this still exists amongst us. Right? That you eat food and you at least call people to eat with you. Otherwise, that's also probably another sign of the Day of Judgment. That people will eat alone and they're so greedy that they don't want anyone to join them in the food. But as a Muslim, we eat together. There's barakah in this. You always look for opportunities to share with your Muslim brother or sister, and you eat together. So when a person is eating, you call each other. Right? Someone is sitting down, they're eating. Someone is passing by. Come brother, there's some food here. Come join us, inshallah. Bismillah. That's how it should be. Otherwise, when the greed comes in, then what happens? Someone is passing by, you hide the plate. You put it this way in the corner. The more hands, the more barakah, inshallah. But what do we think? The more hands, the less food I'm gonna get. So don't call anyone. Hide the food, hide all the goods, and keep it to yourself. Hoard everything away. This is not the way that Muslims used to be. As Muslims, you should love sharing bounties and gifts with other people. You should love to have guests. You should love to have people sitting on your dastarkhan, on your tablecloth. You should love to have people coming inside of your home. So just like people call each other for the meal, they call each other to this plate. Hey, there's some left here. Come join. Come join. The nations will call each other, and the plate of food will be the Muslim ummah. They'll call each other, hey, come take a bite of this. Come get your share out of this. Come get your portion from here. They'll call each other and eat away at the Muslim ummah. And the Sahabi radiyallahu anhu, he said, وَمِن قِلَّةٍ نَحْنُ يَوْمَئِذٍ. Are we going to be very less in number? Right? Maybe the other nations will be so huge Their armies will be so great. In number, they'll be so great. And we're going to be very, very few individuals. So that's why they're going to kind of bully us. Is that the case, Ya Rasulullah? Is that why? And the Prophet ﷺ said, no. You'll be plenty in number at that time. There's going to be a lot of you. It's not about your being less in number. There will be plenty of you at that time. وَلَكِنَّكُمْ غُثَاءٌ كَغُثَاءِ السَّيْلِ. You will be like the, what's the word I'm looking for? The rubbish that floats on top of the flood water. You know when there's a flood, on top of the water you get that little foam, that rubbish, the nasty part which is floating on top. The Prophet ﷺ said, you'll be great in number. There's going to be a lot of you. But the quality is going to be very, very low. So people they'll have the name as Muslims. They'll have the name that we have Iman and we have Islam and we're Muslims. But the quality of faith is going to be very, very low. وَلَيَنْزِعَنَّ اللَّهُ مِنْ صُدُورِ عَدُوِّكُمْ الْمَهَابَةَ مِنْكُمْ. That fear that people will have for the ummah, that's going to be uplifted and taken out of the hearts of people. It will be taken out of the hearts of your enemies. So they're not going to fear you after that. And then the Messenger ﷺ says, you will have wahn, a type of weakness which will be placed into your hearts. And then when they asked, what is this wahn, what is this weakness? The Prophet ﷺ said, حُبُّ الدُّنْيَا وَكَرَاهِيَةُ الْمَوْتِ. You will excessively love the world and you will dislike death. When the nations will gather upon you, just like people eat a dish and they call each other, when will this time be? When Muslims will be great in number, but they will be in this disease. And what is this disease? They'll have two symptoms. Love of this world and absolute hatred of death. And what is the reason? When you love dunya so much, when you love this world so much, the akhirah and the hereafter becomes a place that you don't want to go towards. The akhirah becomes a place that you're not looking forward to, because you cannot imagine leaving this place that you love so much. But respected listeners, if a person truly understands what's in the next life, مَا أَعَدَّ اللَّهُ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ, what Allah has prepared for the believers in the next life, your heart won't incline towards this dunya, because you know what's waiting for you. You know what awaits you in the next life, inshaAllah. So this world is not going to intrigue you. This world is not going to captivate you. Your thoughts are in another land. Your thoughts are in another realm. That's what intrigues you. And that's what a person wants to go after. And subhanAllah, when you look at our great history and the people that have passed before us, this is exactly how they were. You look at Bilal radiallahu anhu, the great legend of Islam. When he's passing away, his wife comes and she's saying, Wa huzna, oh sadness, what a sad day this is. My beloved husband is leaving. He's leaving this world. And what did Bilal radiallahu anhu say? He said, don't say wa huzna, say wa farha. Oh happiness, this is a happy occasion. غَدًا نَلْقَى الْأَحِبَّةِ مُحَمَّدًا وَحِزْبَهِ. He says, tomorrow I'm going to meet the beloveds. Tomorrow I'm going to meet the beloveds. I'm going to meet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam and his companions. Don't say sad day. This is a happy day for me. I'm meeting all my companions. I'm meeting all my old friends. I'm meeting the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam. It's a beautiful time for me. And then you see companions like Mu'adh ibn Jabal radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. He said, as he's passing away, listen to his words. This is a great companion radiyallahu anhu. As he's leaving this world, what are the words that come out of his mouth? He says, "Oh Allah, you know that I feared you during my life. And at this moment, وَأَنَا الْيَوْمَ أَرْجُوكَ. At this time, I have hope in you. During my life, I had excessive fear. But at this moment, when I'm about to meet you and I'm about to leave this world, I have great hope in you." And look what he says. He says, "Oh Allah, you know that I didn't love the dunya, I didn't love the world just so that I could see the flowing rivers, so that I could make nice beautiful rivers and gardens and these types of things, right? And I didn't love the dunya so that I could plant trees and plant crops and enjoy my life. That's not why I love dunya. That's not why life was important to me. Why was life important to me?" He says, the thing that's important to me and the thing that I miss about this world, the thirst of fasting in the hot days. Imagine, a person is dying, you're leaving this world. A normal person, what do you miss? You miss mom, you miss dad, you miss your kids, you miss your wife, you miss your husband. You're thinking about all these things. You're thinking about everything that you left behind. Look at what this man is sad about. I'm going to miss that thirst of the hot days while I'm fasting. And he says, وَمُزَاحَمَةِ الْعُلَمَاءِ بِالرُّكَبْ عِنْدَ حِلَقِ الذِّكْرِ. He says, the thing that I'm going to miss about dunya is sitting with the ulama, sitting with the scholars on my knees in the gatherings of remembrance. When we are remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and learning about Islam. Those are the things that I'm going to miss. Now all of this, trustworthiness becoming uplifted, people losing this faith and honesty completely being pulled out from their hearts, knowledge being uplifted, and ignorance prevailing amongst the people, a lot of this has to do with, the reason is because of corrupt leaders. And that's the next sign, which the Prophet ﷺ mentioned. لا تقوم الساعة حتى يسود كل قبيلة منافقوها حتى يسود كل قبيلة منافقوها أخرجه الطبراني. Imam Tabarani narrates this hadith. He says that the Prophet ﷺ says, Qiyamah will not take place until the hypocrites of every tribe become their leaders. The hypocrites of every nation will become their leaders. They will lead their nations. Not the best amongst them, not the most knowledgeable, not the most capable, not the most God-fearing. But which ones amongst the people? The hypocrites. The ones whose hearts are full of hypocrisy. Their hearts are full of greed. Their hearts are full of lust. Their hearts are full of looking for their own benefits. Make the rich richer and make the poor poorer. That's their policy. And that's actually another sign which is coming as well. Is that the powerful will take advantage of those who are weak. Those who are powerful, they will take advantage of those who are weaker than them. And what do you see happening today? Economically, that's how the world runs. The system is in place, the rich get richer, the poor get poorer. Make them fall into debts, capture everything from them. يُوضَعُ الْأَخْيَارُ وَيُرْفَعُ الْأَشْرَارُ. Imam Hakim narrates this hadith. The good people, they will become debased. They will be placed low. They will be put down. People will not want to hear their words. They'll have no significance in society. The good people, they'll be put down. So who's going to be uplifted? وَيُرْفَعُ الْأَشْرَارُ. The evil people, those who have corruption in their hearts, they will be uplifted. Their words will have a lot of importance and significance. What they say, people will take very, very seriously. Moving ahead, there's two more inshallah and we're going to finish. The Messenger alayhi salam mentioned that the Muslim Ummah, they will follow the other nations. Al-Yahud wal-Nasara. Shibran bi-shibrin, dhira'an bi-dhira'in. Handspan by handspan, arm length by arm length. Exactly as the previous nations have done, the Muslim Ummah will follow in their path. To be like them, to follow their ways. To such an extent, لو أن أحدهم دخل جحر ضب, if one of them were to enter the hole of a lizard, لدخلتم, then you would also enter the hole of that lizard, just because of the fact that these other nations have entered. So what does this mean? It means that the love of following deen, the love of following Islam, the way of our Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the sunnah of our Prophet alayhi salam, the way that our Sahaba radiyallahu anhum, how they used to live, the love for that is going to be replaced by what? The love of the ways of other people. The love of the ways of other people. The sunnah will be disregarded, and the ways of other people will be held in high esteem. And what do we see today? Homes, there is no more adhan. There is no more salah. There is no more Quran. But what will you see in the corner in December? You'll see, mashallah, nice big Christmas tree with all the decorations, with all the ornaments, with the little socks on the chimney, the whole 9 yards. If they were to enter the hole of a lizard, you would enter in there also. You would follow right behind. And when it comes to Eid, what is Eid? When is Eid? What's the importance of Eid? I don't know. But Halloween, yes, very, very important for me. Christmas, very, very important for me. Thanksgiving, very, very important for me. But everything else, the important days that Allah and His Messenger have legislated for us, no importance to those things. Who do we take as role models? Who has value in your eyes? Who has esteem in your eyes, that when you think of them, when their story or their picture comes in your mind, you're full of awe and reverence. Wow, subhanallah, that's a person that I love. That's a person that I want to emulate. Who are those people? For the history of our Islam, the history of this deen, those people were great people. Sahaba, tabi'een, the great ulama of our history. Those were the people that were worthy of emulation. And today, who are we interested in following? Subhanallah wa bihamdi. We've become happy to remove the great imamah and the turban and these great sunnahs and these great things that the Prophet ﷺ left behind, and we've replaced it with what? That guy with the rainbow hair, right? Rainbow hair. Everyone is, going in a craze. MashaAllah, listen to his song, listen to his this, listen to his that. Oh my God, this guy is so cool. Now everyone gets tattoos all over their face. Subhanallah. In the olden days, there were no tattoos on the face. Everyone had a mark here on their forehead from sajda. That was the mark on the face. There was no tattoo here and here to make yourself cool. It was a tattoo here, not a real tattoo, but it was a tattoo here to show what? Not that you're cool, not that you're someone, not that you're popular. Your forehead was dark to show that you're a servant of Allah. And that's what was looked with esteem. That's what was looked up upon. that, wow, that's how I should be. That's what I should look up to. And now, what has become cool and popular is rainbow hair. MashaAllah. I mean, anyone that has intellect, if you just look at that, if you have some logic inside of you, you should know. This is not something that's worthy of emulation. So the people will follow. They will leave the beautiful sunnah and they will take the ways of other people. The next one that we have, Musnad Abi Dawood al-Tayalisi, rahimahullah, he narrates that the Prophet ﷺ said, towards the ends of times, what's going to happen is that the masajid, they will be taken as pathways. The masajid, they'll be taken as pathways, and sudden death will become common. This is in one hadith. The masajid will be taken as pathways, and death happening suddenly, this will start to become very, very common. So what does this mean? The first one that we look at, the masajid will become pathways. That means the only association that a person will have with the masjid is that it's like a landmark, it's like a location for your traveling. You have to pass through it to get to your destination. You won't take the masjid as a place of guidance. You won't take the masjid as a place of prayer. You won't take the masjid as a place of getting closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the masjid will just be a place that it's a pathway. So much so that a person will go through. They won't even read 2 rakats, is mentioned in another narration. They'll pass through the masjid as a pathway, just to reach their destination, but they won't even pray 2 rakats of salah. May Allah protect us. Many of us, today also, we go places. Where do you want to meet? Oh, let's meet at so-and-so masjid. Let's meet over here at this masjid. If you're there and you go there, you're all the way there, take 5 minutes, go inside and read 2 rakats of salah. Don't make it a pathway. Go inside and read salah. Don't make the masjid just as landmarks. Just like how you would say, oh, where's that place? Yeah, right next to the Starbucks. Oh, where's that place? Oh, it's right there by Lowry Masjid. Lowry Masjid and Starbucks become the same value in our eyes now. Masajid should hold lots of honor in our eyes. Lots of respect and reverence. You know, I remember when I was little, we used to pass by Lowry Masjid. And like my mom would drop me off to the masjid in Jummah time. And usually people just pass by and like, oh, okay, it's Jummah, people are praying, okay. That's the end of the day, okay, who cares? But every time we would pass by, my mom would be like crying and stuff, and she'd be like, Subhanallah, look at the masjid. Look how many people are making sajda. Look how many people they're praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What a great day this is. Look how many people have come out for the sake of Allah. You know, just that reverence for the masjid. The masjid is not a landmark. It's not like a normal place like anywhere else. You have to remember, masajid are places of malaika, places of angels. They're places of lots of goodness taking place. And sudden death becoming common. So, what was very common in the previous days was that when a person starts getting towards the end of their life, they'll feel the sickness, they'll get into the maradul maut, they'll write their will, they'll call their family members, they'll basically know that their final hours are coming very, very near. Their final days are coming near because of their sicknesses and things of that nature. But towards the ends of times, sudden death, where you're completely unexpecting it, this will become very, very common, right? And we hear cases, young person, 35, 40, 45 years old, completely healthy, nothing is wrong with them. Suddenly, one day what happens? Dinner is on the table, everyone is calling him for dinner, next thing you know, he collapses, right before he can sit down. And that's the end of his life. Sudden heart attack, good health, everything was fine. Suddenly the person leaves this world. So this mautul fuja'a, suddenness of death, This is going to become very, very common. And the last one that we have from the hadith of Bukhari, كَثْرَةُ الزَّلَازِلِ, earthquakes will become very, very common. In abundance, you will see that there are a lot of earthquakes that take place. And if you look in the, as far as how common earthquakes have become, especially here in California, earthquakes happen a lot. Earthquakes happen a lot. And especially compared to the previous, the previous eras, the numbers are only increasing and increasing as we go along. So inshallah we'll end here. These were some of the minor signs that will take place, and they will continue as trends. They will be very, very common and continue and lead right up to the last days. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to ask. If not, inshallah, we will continue next week at 8:30 p.m.